Hi everyone, it's Amy, and in today's No Frills, don't just do it, no, don't just think it, see, dyslexia. Don't just think it, do yoga channel, which I am working on a series of books, which have one out now, but whatever. Okay, you can read about that in the below. But anyway, in today's video, I want to talk about a couple of hard truths. And it's some things that as we're growing up, we don't like to think about. At least I maybe, I'll just speak for myself and you can comment below. Throat chakra. Blockage. Oh, okay. So, not everyone has your back. Okay. And there are a lot of reasons why people might not have your back. First of all, they might not even know that you need their support. So you need to ask for support sometimes when you need it. Sometimes they have so much of their own stuff and crap going on that they don't have the capacity to have compassion or empathy or make space for you. And that's not a criticism or a judgment, that's just a real truth. And, or, because maybe they're suffering in their own ways or they have some of their own problems. Um, or maybe they're just like selfish people. So not everyone has your back, and no one really is obligated to do that. It's just the way it is. And I know that sounds kind of grim, but the whole point, it doesn't even matter why somebody doesn't have your back. I think the thing that we need to remember is that we're all human beings on a planet and that we all have our own cycles of joyful living and smooth, good times, and we all have real fucking hard times too. So I think it's just like it's cycles, and some people don't show that they ever have a hard time when they're dealing with a hard time. Some people hide it. They don't show their true face to the world, and they don't need to. And it's not everybody's business when somebody's having a hard time. And some people, um, okay, but here's the thing. There's always two sides, right, to the coin. Of course, they both exist simultaneously. All of these things on this scale, they all exist simultaneously. So somebody on this may not have your back, but somebody else will. Sometimes you just have to find your people. Um, and I think we should really understand too that sometimes we have people who are our friends at different points in our lives that we become friends because we're sharing a similar experience. Like we all had kids together, and so we are all going to the we met at the school to pick up our children, and then we all start hanging out, or our kids play together, or and then our kids grow up, and then or we move, or we get another job, whatever it is. Sometimes we meet people because we have a job. It doesn't mean that you stop loving these people, but sometimes our daily lives we're not able to nourish these relationships. I really am rambling. I was asking like the spirit guides and the angels and the ascended masters to help me deliver this message today, but I'm really struggling with it. So the truth is that when somebody does support us, it feels good. And when somebody doesn't, it's really disappointing. And we can feel very sad about that. And it's okay to feel sad. But I think we all have to remember that we're all humans and we're all doing the best that we can. And some people are going to be like more kind and more generous and more giving, and some people aren't. And sometimes people who are kind and giving are people pleasers, and they're not even doing it because they want to really, I mean, I think maybe they do want to help you, but they're doing it because they want your approval or like seek some kind of validation. And they want to just do whatever they can because they're afraid that you're not going to be their friend anymore or something like that. Anyway, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I don't really, actually, I think that a lot of that subject, I'm more of a philosopher. And I think psychology is really interesting, and I think therapy can really help people through different times in their lives. But I think it's a tricky slope. It depends. Also going to let you know about an offer that I have where you can download a free PDF file that has 40 different yoga poses illustrated with the English name and the Sanskrit name to help you get acquainted. So, this is something you can do, and you can use this before you even go to a studio. You can spend a week every day getting out your mat and trying some of these poses. There's child's pose, there's cat and cow, there's all kinds of different poses, but you can see how they are and you can just feel into them. And that will actually help you ease into it. You'll know, you'll have this guide, you can read it ahead of time. So when you go to a studio, you won't be completely clueless about what you're doing. And basically, once you learn the few basic moves, then you get better and better as you go. But the first times, maybe you're going in the opposite direction or you're going backwards and you can't follow along and it's really hard and you have all this, like, if you were in a class with other people, you might have some anxiety because you've never done that before. So download the guide, and you can, at least if you don't want to even try them at home, you can uh, read this and look at the poses and see at what they are ahead of time. So it's free. You'll just be on my mailing list. That is part of the deal. But you can unsubscribe if you really hate getting on a mailing list. But I don't think you should because I offer great stuff.